And we're back.
And we're back, folks. Welcome to the Cavalry.
This is a big day. So, just a quick update. I just got my suitcase.
Oh,
They delivered it today. So, for reference, when you were listening to, we recorded a little weird schedule-wise. That was like 10 days ago, I think we recorded. I said they lost it maybe 12 days ago. And just got it.
I see. I've never had that happen. So how did you survive? You had no clothes except for what was on you?
Yeah, no clothes. So I just bought. So first of all, you're on the ship. So like that, there's nothing except for the ship gift shop. So there's a lot of Tommy Bahama and like $90 shorts and stuff that I would just never buy. But you're like, well.
Oh gosh, where was it? Norwegian?
No, it was Holland.
Oh, that's right. Was it your first Holland?
Yeah. So, and I liked it. I liked the, I thought it was nice. But I will say that. So then, very expensive gift shop. So then then they say, and then the airlines, they're so shady because they're like, United says, "Oh, just keep your receipts and we'll refund you." And I'm like, well, what's the limit? Like, how much? Because this stuff's kind of expensive. Like, well, just be reasonable. What? Because they don't want to give you a number because they know if they give you a number, everybody's gonna max out.
Yeah.
But like, I was like, that is so. You can't. This is a business. You can't just say be reasonable.
So what was Andrew's number?
Dude, so for the whole week, it's like $900.
Oh, in clothes?
Yeah. Because
good for you.
I had no shoes.
So you had to buy shoes?
No swimsuit, no like show clothes. Like I needed like real like shirt. I couldn't just wear t-shirts and stuff on stage. So it was like 7 days worth of like socks, underwear, pants, shorts, shirts. I didn't buy a suit. I packed a suit. I didn't buy like new like fancy dress shoes or anything. So I could have done more damage than that, honestly.
Did you oh wow, did you buy all this stuff on the boat?
No. So I bought this is what I did. I bought like because I was worried I was going to have a show. So like I bought like pants and then some like workout shorts that were like $70 for like workout shorts. And then like a show shirt that I thought I could wear on stage,
Yeah.
And that was it from the gift shop. And then I was like, okay. And then when we get our first port, I'll go. And I bought but then the first port was like at Turks and Caicos, and it was like just one of those places where there's like the fake little cruise ship town. And then I was like, oh, I'll go downtown to the shops, So I get a cab downtown. Downtown is literally like 3 shacks that are all falling over, and then there's one lady. I'm like, I need like socks and underwear. Does that because they don't sell that in the gift shop, So like, do you sell socks and underwear? And it's one of those stores where stuff is literally like it's like a hoarders episode. Like there's stuff just falling in, like you can't even walk in the store. You like walk in and you just like turn in a circle and like point to shelves. And she's like digging through bags of stuff looking for socks and underwear. And she starts pulling out like individual socks and trying to match them up.
Oh my God.
And then I'm like, you know what? I'm okay. And I said, no. And then she starts pulling out underwear. And then it's just like giant boxers with like Looney Tunes on them. The big dog stuff. And I'm like, oh, good. And there's none of it's packaged. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
So I bought, the pressure was on, and plus I needed it. So I bought like a couple pairs of socks and 1 pair of underwear just to get me another day. And then when we got to San Juan, there was like a Ralph Lauren store right off the ship. So I bought the rest of the stuff there.
Do you wash the underpants before you wear them?
No. Are you supposed to do that?
I don't know. My wife says you got to wash everything before you wear it. She's like, oh, they have so many chemicals. It's a chemical that's so gross.
Let me tell you something. I wasn't worried about chemicals with this pair. I was a lot more worried about previous owners, but I still didn't wash them. So, but I don't think there were chemicals.
Previous owner's skid marks.
Yeah, I guess that's a chemical. I don't. I guess everything's a chemical.
Yeah.
But yeah. So then, yeah, I bought the rest of the stuff at the. But then it's like, and then I do that bit about needing the Walmart plastic sacks.
Yeah.
And I wasn't gonna buy another suitcase. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like then they might not refund me for that. So I literally had I traveled with like shopping bags home.
Yeah.
They weren't Walmart bags, but I literally like lived my joke again.
Wow.
Yeah.
Isn't that frustrating? And that you do that when you live your joke, and you're like, I can't even get a like this. Usually, when you have a shitty experience, you're like, well, at least maybe I'll get a bit out of it. But this, you're like, I already have the bit.
I already have the better version of the story, like the funnier version. This is just annoying.
Yeah, there's a zero value in this.
So then it's like, so then you got to get refunded, right? And so you file a claim, and first of all, they want you to first of all, you have to say all the stuff that was in your original suitcase and the value of everything.
Right.
They're like, okay. I was like, okay, so I'm just guessing, like, yeah, $20 for the shirt, $100 for the shoes, whatever. And then they're like, anything over $100 or more, provide the original receipt
of your original clothes.
Yeah, I'm just imagining, who do they think the public is? Or are like, oh sure, let me go to my attic and just thumb through the thousands of receipts that I've kept for every purchase of my life and get this receipt for the suit jacket from 7 years ago. I mean, it's insane.
Let me ask you this: have you gotten the $900 yet?
Oh God, no. No, they said it takes 6 to 8 weeks just to process the claim. So I won't even know that I'm rejected for another.
Right.
And then
you'll have cooled down by that point. You'll be like, fucking whatever.
I know. I won't care as much. But also their janky ass website won't, like, you know how they like submit a picture and it must be in this format and it can't be over this many kilobytes or whatever. And you're like, I don't know how many kilobytes the picture. Why don't you just accept pictures from people's iPhones? How about that? I think that's like the 99.99% of the way people are taking pictures of receipts. But
yeah,
then I reformat the pictures. I save them small enough so I can upload them. But then the website literally can't accept more than like, I couldn't figure out why it wasn't accepting it. They couldn't accept more than like 3 or 4 pictures, would send it over like a total data, like it would, steam would shoot out of its ears and shit. Like it couldn't handle that much data, I guess. And so I couldn't even send the pictures of the receipts. So they were like, send your expense report. So I literally I was like, what the fuck? I don't know. So I just wrote all the stuff I bought and like dated it just in my own handwriting. And then I took a picture
on your hand, and you took a picture of your hand.
Yeah, I sent that in. I was like, this doesn't feel very official. Oh, by the way, too, the lady who sold me the socks and underwear and Turks and Caicos, I was like, hey, I need a receipt for this, and she just laughed at me. So I was like, do you have
just wrote it on her hand and said, here you go.
Dude, pretty close. She had one of those pads you take like restaurant orders on.
Yeah.
And she just handed that to me.
Yeah, that's like a receipt for Goodwill where they just sign it and let you fill it out.
Yeah, so I just filled out, I was like, 1 pair of stinking underwear. $15.
Secondhand underpants.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
So, but got the bag this afternoon. Very exciting. Took like 50 phone calls. It was at the hotel. They delivered it to the hotel after I'd already left, of course. And then it sat there for like 10 days.
Oh, God.
But got it back.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're reunited with it. Oh, my God.
So that
you got to keep us posted when you get your $900 back.
Yeah, well, stay tuned, everyone. 6 weeks from now.
Yeah.
We have an exciting update. I'm sure there's going to be a fight.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
I'm ready for it, though. I'm prepared. I'm keeping.
You got to hold on to that anger. You got to journal. And when the date's coming up, you got to reread it and be like, oh, that's right. That's right. Those motherfuckers.
Yeah, I got to start listening to like death metal before the call.
Otherwise, you'll just be like, oh, whatever. That was 2 months ago.
I
Who gives
know.
a shit?
Because $900 now seems like an incredible amount of money. But yeah, once you factor in 2 months of like living, you're like,
Yeah.
it's $900, you know. And I still have the stuff. It's not stuff I would have bought otherwise, but it's like at least I have the stuff.
Yeah.
Um. Oh
Yeah.
wait, one other quick travel update. Another this keeps happening to me. Well, I say keeps. It's happened twice now. I get on the flight home from
Yeah.
Miami, and the woman to my left, I'm in the middle seat because again it's United, and the woman to my left is crying the entire flight.
That's the second time,
It's the second
right?
time. And so this time she was more subtle and she was not a child, you know, like
Okay.
before.
Yeah.
She was more probably a younger, maybe 20s, early 20s, mid 20s or something. And she was, and it looked like she was texting the whole time. And so maybe she was like texting through a breakup. I don't know. But she's a little more subtle. So the flight attendants didn't notice. But I was like, okay, you got to say something. You got to be like a nice guy here. Take your headphones out. And like, because like I was offended the last time
Right.
when I was not approached to be this
Now
person.
I have to justify your offense.
Right. So
Is
I'm
she literally the seat next to you?
literally the seat next to me. And I'm
Right.
probably, and she's in the window, you know, so I'm probably the only person who actually notices. She's
Oh,
not
okay.
audibly crying, but she's like clearly crying.
Oh, so you're
And I
middle
think
seat.
she must know that I know, you know. So I'm
Yeah.
like, what do I? So then I'm like really thinking about it. It's like, okay, what do I say? Like, I was like, are you okay? But then I was like, well, that's a dumb shit thing to say. Of course she's not okay. She's crying, you know.
Yeah.
It's like, what would you say? You know? I was like,
What
should
would
I?
I say?
Well, I was like, should I offer her something? Like, can I get you something? I was like, but then I was like, I can't get her anything, you know? Like, first of
Do you
all,
want me to push the stewardess button for you?
it's like, I was really like, I was frozen. I didn't know what to say, and so I waited for the stewardess to come by. I was like, you know what? I'll get 2 waters, and then I'll offer her a water. But then I was like, but she's gonna ask her if she wants water. So that's stupid too. And of course, she said when she asks, "Do you want a water?" She said no. So it's not like I'm gonna go, "Hey, I know you said no 5 seconds ago, but would you like this water that I got you?"
You're just trying to be like it's a date and you're trying to be chivalrous. She'll have the water.
She will have the water. She is hysterical. She doesn't know what she's talking
Yeah.
about. Clearly, she is not in her right mind. Please, just
Right. So
so
how did it end?
I didn't say shit. I just I
You
was
know
like,
what? That's what I would have done too. I would have just looked inviting, but not said anything myself.
yeah, I definitely like took my headphones out and like I felt like I was available, but I think I should have said something, and I feel guilty because now it's like, what does everyone complain about? Oh, we live in this world and everybody's just in their own phones and nobody's having a human moment. And here was like a chance for me to be a compassionate human being. But you know what I needed was like an opening line because I feel like the first thing that pops in your head is, "Are you okay?" But that just seems so
Right.
patronizing and stupid because it's like, you know, I
Yeah.
asked Heidi, I was like, what would, she's like, you should have just said, "Are you okay?" She's like, people like to hear that if, you know, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, yeah, I mean, no, I would have done what you did, where I like overthink and be like, well, of course she's not okay. That's a dumb question. But that is kind of like we both know you're not okay. This is
But
your open, this is your
it's a
invitation to
social,
say if you want to open up, you can. If not,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you could have just told her a joke.
yeah. Yeah,
You'd have been like, hey, why don't boxers have sex the night before a big fight?
why?
Because they don't like each other. Just to see what she did, to see if you could break her out of that.
Dude, that's a great little joke.
It is. I just heard it. It was on like Instagram or TikTok or something. I thought it was fucking hilarious.
I gotta remember. See, man, do I wish I could be one of those guys who just has like a Rolodex of like jokes like that. I can never remember a joke when I'm put on the spot.
I know. I just heard that. It's a great one. And then as soon as I hear the next joke I hear, even if it's terrible, that one's going to get knocked out and I will forget it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You have room for one,
Mm-hmm.
and that one only lasts like I'll forget it by the end of this podcast for sure.
Yeah.
Uh, so this is my conclusion was that you know what you need is like a tissue.
Oh,
That
yeah. And you got to have tissue on you when you
got to
go into bed.
carry tissue on you, and then you can just lean over and just like kind of coolly, subtly go, do you want to, and then you can say like, is everything okay? And then I was thinking like, man, a handkerchief. Like remember back like you watch that.
Yeah. So I was going to say,
You're like a
but
had
those are fucking gross.
yeah, it's gross, but who gives it? It's so cool. And
Hey, do
usually
you want this
it's
bloody booger filled piece of fabric that I carry around with me?
hey, I see you're upset. Would you like this dirty rag to rub all over your
Put
face?
near your eyes.
I know there's a global pandemic, but why don't you rub your face on this disgusting cloth that I carry around on my person and use to blow my nose?
Or maybe if you offered her a tissue, she'd be like, Why do you carry tissues with you? Are you
Some sort of pickup artist move.
or do you just masturbate in airport bathrooms so much? Oh, you don't need a tissue? Do you need some hand lotion? Because I have that in my other pocket.
Do you need a Hustler magazine? Uh, that's all I got. It's either that.
That's all I got. So I'm going to put my headphones back in. I tried to help you. I don't know what your problem is.
I carry pornography magazines with me. I love masturbating that much. Just in case my phone dies,
Huh?
I always have a Hustler magazine with me.
Yeah.
So that yeah, handkerchief. I'm gonna carry a handkerchief with me. That's the solution. Nobody jerks off into a handkerchief, so that alleviates that suspicion.
Yeah, you should. You should have like a custom made handkerchief made, and like just offer a handkerchief like, oh, thank you, and then when she unfolds it, it has stitched in it. Stop crying.
It's gonna say that. It's gonna be like just beautifully embroidered. Please be quiet. or like writing in it like you're making everyone else uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Dude, that'd be good road merch. Now I'm thinking of where's our guy Dave? He could help us.
Oh yeah.
He'd be all over that. You're
Yeah.
making everyone uncomfortable. Handkerchiefs.
That's a good idea.
Copyright.
Remember that.
Copyright. Patent
Yes.
pending. Patent pending.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
so.
If you say that, that makes it so.
That's
Trademark.
how the patent system works, right?
Yeah. I think so.
So that was my big trip.
But the cruise was good. Was it how often were your shows? Was it just you? Was it a
Yeah, just
magician?
me, which you'd think would be lonely, but it was all right.
Yeah, sometimes that's nice.
It was all right, and it was just 1 week, which was I think the best part of it. Just 1 week. It was Thanksgiving, which sucks,
Okay.
but
Yeah, which sucks. Wink.
no, no,
wink.
no, it sucked. Thanksgiving is my favorite holiday, and I definitely love eating. But nowadays it would have been one of the years too where we had it at our house, and
Ah,
you're cooking all day. You know what I mean?
yeah.
It's a lot of work. And so it was kind of, and they had all the games on the ship and they had good food.
Oh, you got to watch the games?
Yeah. So I would just
Oh,
watch
nice.
like 10 hours of football, ate, had a couple glasses of wine. I was like, man, that's
Hey, see, that
good.
sounds nice. That sounds nice.
Yeah. So,
Oh man.
but I missed my family.
Of course. But they're always there.
Uh,
You
but
know.
yeah, the shows were fun. The shows were fun. Good crowds. So I
That's
would.
good. Were you in the big theater for every
Yeah,
show?
they only have you in the theater, which is great too. So you do two different shows. You have like night
Yeah.
one, night two, and then you do two shows on those nights. So you
So
end
when
up.
I did those shows, but then I also had to split a show with the magician where we each you didn't do
Oh,
that?
No,
Huh.
no, it was just 4 shows total, and it was just really easy to keep straight the material. That's what I liked about it. I was like, okay, you have this one show and you have the next show. You
Yeah.
know, when you're doing like 11 shows a week or something, you're like, wait, what have I said already? And who's
Yeah,
said
you got to
what?
study and re-listen. Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So,
Well, that's good.
but it wasn't bad at all.
You going to do more Holland?
Yeah, I think so. So I got another week on this ship in January, and then I think I'm gonna do some Alaska ones in May for a different ship. But we'll see.
Cool.
Yeah, yeah, it's like we I'm feeling the serious pinch these days, so I'm a little quicker on the draw to take more ships because of that whole mess.
Well,
Get
it's
into
the
it.
holidays. That's when everyone's. Oh my God, money sucks. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, money sucks. Well, at least we're getting rich doing this podcast. So
That's right. That's right. Patreon.com
join the
forward
Patreon.
slash the Cavalry.
Uh, so wait, what's where were you last week?
I Wednesday night was the big Kevin Bozeman and Friends
Oh
Thanksgiving sold
yeah.
out. I think both shows were sold out. Like right the night of the second show ended up selling out. That's what they told me. But those were great. Those were comedy loving audiences. It was super fun. Um, and yeah, so that was fun.
Did
And that was they got me a hotel. The club put like I got an email reservation. They didn't tell me about it. Just like, oh hey, here's your reservations all set. And so Bozeman's a big drinker, and that's like his big night to just do it up. And so I was like, well, I'm gonna use the hotel room, and so I did. It was great.
yeah. So you ripped it?
I
When
ripped it. What does that mean?
Postman
Huh?
ripped? That's what they used to say in Boston. I remember the comics. They were like,
Was that
they
slang
go out
for?
and drink heavy,
Oh,
go out and rip it.
oh, I didn't know if you meant had a good show or
Well,
farted.
yeah, I guess it could be used for that too.
Yeah, I ripped one.
It's the comedy it's a comedy club on state sold out. I'm sure you killed. There's no question about that.
Oh, yeah, everyone. I mean, yeah, it was great. Everyone did. It was so fun. Yeah, and what was the? I think I did. Ah, shoot! Now I can't remember because I did that show on Wednesday, and then Friday, Saturday I was at the Funny Bone, and I did both nights. I did the Judd's joke that I ran by you.
Uh-huh.
Uh yeah, I don't know. That was one where I didn't feel like it went good, and then you get the bigger laugh after your joke flops, and you acknowledge it, and you talk about it, and you blame the audience or whatever. But then my sisters told me they liked it because they came to the Friday show. Erin came to the Friday show, saw that, so that was nice to have her see me. She hadn't she hasn't seen a show of mine in a while.
Isn't that crazy? Because like between COVID and kids, it's like, when would your wife? And then like if you ever do like get a babysitter and you know get out of the house, it's like she's like, oh yeah, date night, go watch
Right.
stand up.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was thinking about, I can't remember. I think my wife or Heidi, you know Heidi, right?
Sure.
Uh, you know Heidi. She came to my album recording, but that was the last.
The original one, not the re-recording.
Yeah, no, not the re-recording. But she was that one show is probably
Yeah.
what she's seen in like the last 3 or 4 years.
Isn't that funny?
Crazy.
It's weird.
She just watches, the Instagram videos like everybody else.
Yeah.
That's how
Just
she.
like me. That's how I see your new material.
Yeah.
Like, hey, he talked about this on the podcast.
Yeah.
Look at that. It worked.
They did. The ideas go. They're circular. I don't know
Yeah.
where they start sometimes, but
Yeah, but yeah, so Omaha was great. Yeah, so that was fun. We had Thanksgiving here, went to Omaha, and then came back Sunday. It was fun. And then now people are my daughter's. That's the worst. I woke up last night to Aaron just screaming, Johnny, Johnny, she's puking. She's puking. And then you hear, like my daughter's in bed with us and puking. It's like, oh, God. Tonight's going to suck. Tomorrow's going to suck.
So everybody's sick just from like all the traveling. Just sort of you get.
Uh, Edie and Duncan, like Edie got sick there, but then she kind of fought through it because she just didn't want to be sick. So she like took medicine and whatever. But then, yeah, Phoebe today was sick and had to stay home from school because I mean, she's probably still sick. I hope she's better tomorrow.
I've been down here for hours. I don't know.
Well, no, I left because I left to go to. I took Edie to basketball practice, and then she was tucked in when I got back. Oh, that was something I wrote down. I want to talk about. So, coaching Edie's basketball, their first games are this Sunday. She has 3 games. Every Sunday, she's going to have 3 games. These are an hour away: 9 o'clock, 11 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. So, like, I'm going to just take her. We're going to watch the Packer game at like a BW3s or some sports bar so we could watch the Packers play the Bears. But I'm an assistant coach, so I'm like there to help out. But there's like there's a dad and a mom separate that they are like actual coaches, and they're teaching them the pick and roll, the screen. And we have talked about that on the podcast. I just can't get it through my head. And I'm like watching it and trying to learn it. And I'm like, yes, this makes sense when you run through it with just 2 people on the court. But once everyone's there and it's in action, I get so they'll be like, all right, Coach Johnny, come here, you be the defender. And I'm like, so I like do it. And and he's got to keep being like, oh, nope. Yeah. And he's like correcting me and I'm supposed to be helping the girls. And I'm just like, watch it. Like, this is my chance to learn the pick and roll as a coach.
Is it? So wait, how old are these kids? What was the age group? 4th grade. Okay.
And it's most of their first time doing organized basketball.
All right. Yeah. So is there any restrictions rules wise on like defensive, like to try and encourage the game to flow a little bit?
Right.
Don't pick up till half court or don't.
Yeah, there's that. That's one of them. They can't defend until half court. And I don't know if stealing's allowed or not.
Okay.
I want to say it is, but they had like a scrimmage against the 3rd graders and the rules were different. Like they couldn't go past, it was even further than half court and they weren't allowed to steal and they had to do like 2 passes before they could shoot or something.
I read this book one time. It's I think it's Malcolm Gladwell. He writes all those books.
Yeah.
And this one was called David versus Goliath. And the whole premise was like, sometimes when you're the underdog, you're actually, the conventional wisdom doesn't see the advantages, but like you should be favored. It's just conventional wisdom. So like David and Goliath, for instance, like of course Goliath would beat David, right? He's like this big giant and David's except David had like a slingshot with basically a gun. So if the guy with a gun should beat the guy. It doesn't matter how big he is, it's like he should win. So like when you take more anyway, so it was the book was all about all these examples of where someone came in as a perceived underdog, but like, so one of and you can tell Malcolm Gladwell is like a nerd, and not a sports guy, because one of the examples was a girls basketball coach, and he was from some other country, and he didn't know any of the norms or whatever.
Yeah.
First time coaching basketball, and he literally like would watch on YouTube and read books till he knew nothing about basketball, right?
Yeah.
I think he would be a bad coach, but he came in and his team dominated because he didn't know any of the social graces about like what you said, like, hey, we don't need to steal the ball. We're trying to like learn. So he was running like a full court press. And then Malcolm Gladwell, see, isn't this guy's kind of a genius? Like, no, he's not. He's just an asshole.
Yeah, that's his slingshot. He had a slingshot on the court.
Yeah, he brought a gun on the court. So that's, yeah. But so how do you feel about pick and roll now that you've run through it? Like are you more comfortable
The
with it?
same. I mean, no, I understand the principle of it, but in practice, it's so crowded. And if I was in the game, I'd be bumping into people. I'd be in my own teammates' way more than I'd be blocking.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe I just need to like play every day for a long time before it clicks
yeah,
because
I
this.
just watch a lot of basketball. You went and
I don't
watched.
think that's the. I watch basketball all the time.
What happened to this?
Oh, the Badger game last night.
What was the police? You sent me that text and then you never answered me.
I didn't respond. What
Yeah.
did you write back? Oh, what was it? Oh, maybe it was too late when I saw your response. So the game, the game ended. We lost. It sucked because it was a great game. It was back and forth. We were up, 5 points with 5 minutes left, and then slowly got back and forth, and then we lost. Whatever. So the game ends, and it's just on the big Omegatron, hey, due to a police situation, we're asking you do not leave the building until further say so. So me and the three guys I was with, we're like, whatever, we're just sitting there, and 75% of the Kohl Center leaves and just empties out.
So they're not taking the heating. They're not heeding the warning.
No, not at all. People are like, yeah, whatever. So then we're like, yeah, well, let's go. We're not hearing any difference. So we go down there and there's cops at the doors, people talking like, what's going on? They're like, well, we cannot confirm nor deny. We cannot say that, but there is a reason that we're asking you not. We cannot keep you in here. And then everyone's like, oh, you can't. Oh, okay, goodbye. And then left. So we just left. We didn't even know what it was. We still don't know.
What a odd.
I mean, I think there were like, because the game, it was an 8 o'clock game. So this was probably after 10 o'clock that we left. And at like 4 or 5, I think there was a news story about someone near the Capitol. There was a shot fired. Nobody got hurt.
It sounds like an active shooter thing.
Yes, that's what I suspected. But I also thought that in the article they said they apprehended a suspect, but maybe they hadn't. But it was just funny because there was like a group of girls that left, that were leaving like at the same time as us, is like going out the exit, and they ran out of the Kohl Center like, ah! Like with their hoods over their head, like darting out to their car. Like, really?
Well, if you're that scared, then just listen to the cops.
Exactly. Well, we're gonna be late. I don't want to get a parking ticket.
I love the attitude too. That's just where we're at with like gun violence in America. They're like, please stay inside if you're unsafe. You're like, how many bullets can he have? He can't shoot all of us.
There's 30,000 of us here.
My time is my time. Let's go. I'm not gonna get stuck in this traffic.
Yeah, that was what was going through my head. Like, come on, what are the odds?
Uh, well, did they run pick and roll at the game? Could you watch?
Oh yeah. I mean, I also we watched. Yeah, we watched it. I watched, and like if we watch games with Edie on TV, I'll be like, hey, you see that? See they're doing the pick and roll. I understand it and I can see it, but then when I'm on the court, it's like, well, this is different.
So, but then when they were coaching it up, they were trying to teach them how to defend it.
No, how to do it. I mean, because these girls had never done it. They aren't familiar with the concept at all. Yeah.
Man,
it's like it's a different.
Sorry. Well, it's just I remember coaching. I coached a little bit of like, not that age. I coached some like C team basketball, like so they were freshmen in high school, I guess.
When?
What's that?
When did you? Who?
Like right after I graduated.
Oh, okay.
So I was probably like, it's just they needed somebody. They had nobody to do it, and
Sure.
it was summer teams. It's not like the official school teams. It was like the summer league teams or whatever. But there's nothing more exciting than when you like practice something and then they actually pull it off because the odds of them
in a game
pulling it off in a game, like them running a successful pick and roll in a live game is so low. And then actually making the shot, like everything going right.
Yep.
Like if they really pull it off, it'll be the most gratifying feeling in the world.
Oh, they haven't even pulled it off in practice. They're not. They are so far. If that does happen, it's accidental. It's like, oh, you see how Brooke got in the way of that girl and it conveniently allowed you to go that way? That's the pick and roll. They'd be like, what happened?
I went to my cousin's daughter had a soccer game in Seattle when we were up there a couple weeks,
No.
and we brought Ginger because we knew there'd be other little kids there and stuff, and it was a nice day, and it was right by my parents' house, and they kept like trying to coach, and these girls were older than fourth grade. I think probably like maybe sixth or seventh grade, maybe, but they kept like doing this thing where the goalie would have to throw the ball, and this was my cousin's daughter, would have to throw the ball in, but they were teaching the kids to like steal that pass, like
Oh, okay.
and they just could not. So she was scared to throw it too far inside because she knew they would come up and steal. But like they were running this thing, you could tell they run it this way in practice, and they couldn't change. They couldn't adapt their strategy in the game. So like
Yeah.
basically the solution, she just kept throwing it too far outside and it would go out of bounds every time. And it was the most frustrating thing to watch. I mean, like, just have the girl come closer to you. Or like fake.
Why did you want to just yell it out?
No, okay. Yes. If that stranger has an idea, that guy who really probably shouldn't be here has some advice for this girls' soccer team. All right. Well, we've been yammering. Pre-show banner is
Well, that okay. The basketball leads into my topic.
okay.
I got two topics. I'm bringing two. The first one doesn't even apply to the game I was at last night because it was a good game. But sometimes you're at a game and you're like, well, let's just get out of here. It's over.
Sure.
I
Yeah.
think they should have this is my this is my stupid cockamamie. They should have like hire a team of actuaries, people good with numbers and stats and that can calculate what the benchmarks are to where if a game at a certain time remaining in the game, if the difference in scores is so much, they call it so that they know who won the game, but they have to keep playing the game. So that way you can leave knowing which team officially won and beat traffic, but they're still playing so that not everyone leaves at that point. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense?
No, it doesn't make sense.
It would be a very large team of actuaries because
Why
you would think that would eliminate these. Oh, what a monster comeback. That's a collateral damage, okay? Occasionally, yes, you're going to miss the monster comeback, but it won't matter. It won't count because they were outside the benchmarks. They were down too far, and the refs called it.
Right. So, but who are these people that are? I feel like you're like trying to outsmart the crowd here because you don't want to sit in traffic. But who are these people who are staying after the game has been called over?
Avid fans, people that go to sound checks of the concert. That's not the concert. You're a dork, but people do it.
But then why don't you just leave early if you're like 99?
I do.
What do you want?
Well, I don't care. See, this is me offering for others because I don't care because I'm not a sports guy. I'm saying, hey, if you are a sports person, you can do what I do, but you're not going to because you care about who won. So I'm altering it to where it's like you can find out who won and leave early.
But also, like, why would the teams keep playing? Like, you would.
I haven't thought it through fully. That's just how it is. It's like in football when they have to kneel to run out the clock. It's like, well, why are they doing that? Why are we doing this? Why are we putting on this show?
What about this? What about? Okay, I like your idea. You're trying to cater to the lazy fans out there, basically.
Or the fans that are just like, why am I going to sit here? I don't want to get stuck in traffic.
What if they do this? Forget the whole like percentage of chances of win. By the way, they have that. Like you can watch a game and you can go on, I don't know, ESPN or any of these sites, and they'll calculate winning percentage at every second of the game. So like you
Okay.
could say, like if it ever gets up to like, and it sometimes it does get up to 99.9% chance. So like you like if you ever get it to some number,
But does it ever get to 99% and then
yeah,
1% happens?
yeah, because you think that's one out of every 100 times, the one out of 100 time thing should probably happen, right? So yeah,
Yeah. See, my system eliminates
so
that.
that's why I'm saying this is good. This is here's my tweak. Let's see.
Okay.
What if we create like a some sort of technology or like an app or something where no matter when you leave the game, if you decide to leave,
Hmm.
doesn't matter how much they're up by, or the,
I already like it. I don't know what you're going to say. I
that
already like it.
reality is the reality. So you walk out of the game, and then the app like takes over your phone, and you get an alert from ESPN like Badgers win 65-47, and so had 18 points. You're like, I saw all 18 of those points, and that's the reality for you for the rest of your life. It updates their record for the season wise, and so it's completely you get to live in your reality where when you left that game, that was the end. And even if you
That's good.
2-0, then that's the reality. You're like, screw it, I'm going home at 2-0. Then that's the reality. The app
I
takes
also like if you leave, like let's say you get to a game and the score is 4-0, and then you get a call, oh, your daughter died in a car accident. So you leave,
right.
the game ended at 4-0.
4-0. You saw it all. They also their daughters also died in a car accident, so they canceled the rest of the game.
Yep. Calculates for that. I like that. There's only one thing is like if you talk, like let's say you're at the office the next day and you talk to the guys.
No, the app fixes that.
Oh, how's that?
It warns you. You know, like how they have that COVID tracking notification. It warns
Oh.
you if you're about to come in contact with some idiot sports douche, and it tells you to avoid
Oh.
them.
See, this is why we have the podcast. You have taken my unfinished holes in the system and you have tweaked it to perfection.
And we live in this society now where everyone's living in their own reality anyway. Half the
That's
country
right.
vaccines are poison and think Trump won and all this stuff. So it's like, why not take it to sports?
Yeah, and you can control it yourself. Like you can leave on purpose. You could be like, "Oh, my team's up, but they got so lucky to get to this point. I'm leaving."
Like you're superstitious and you're like,
Yeah.
I don't like the way this is heading. I'm getting out of here. Great.
Yeah. I love it. That's a great idea.
I love it. See?
Oh, that's great.
That is the true essence of the Cavalry podcast.
Oh yeah, totally. No, that was a yes and a big and with a big and. Oh my gosh. See, now that app is great and I like it. To me, like as a person that doesn't give a shit, like last night I was at the game, like I didn't go. The three guys I was with, I think two or three of them, maybe all three of them went to UW Madison. Like that's their alma mater.
Super fans.
And so it was like it was fun and it was very exciting and they have ties. And I mean I was rooting for the Badgers because I live here and I'm, trying to be a fan. Yeah. They were playing Wake Forest, who I have never heard of. I don't even know where that is.
They're like I think it's North Carolina, but they're like a good. Well, I don't know if they've been good lately, but they're like a traditional basketball school.
Oh, okay. But I mean, I was like, at the end, I was like mad when we lost. I was like, and I was like, and I literally did have to be like, wait a minute, Johnny. Remember, you don't give a fuck. And I was fine. But I had to tell myself, I had to remind myself because I got into it.
That could be one of my handkerchiefs. I can give those out to sports fans. Remember, you don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I had to have the Seahawks lost an awful game to the Raiders on Sunday, and I had to give myself that speech.
Oh.
I was just like so mad, and I was like,
Dude, you care. You're lying to yourself. Saying
the worst part is the honest truth is I do care.
I know.
And I can't care this much as a father. You can't just be in a shitty mood with your kid because some team lost. I mean, it's just I really got to start rewiring my brain. I don't know how I'm going to do it, but it's just so embarrassing to be like, he's like, why are you like just hours later, like, you've been in a bad mood all afternoon. She's like, I think ever since you watched that game. I was like, it's not the game. And I'm like, yeah, it's probably
The game.
like, I'm worried about money and I'm worried about that. I had to like come up with all these fake stressors. And it was
Yeah,
like,
I had to be like, oh, our future is insecure, but really it's just a game.
yeah, the guy could be coming with the foreclosure sign to put on a door. If the Seahawks won, I'd be like, ah, we'll get another house. It's fine. Look, we're gonna go to the Super Bowl. That's
It's hilarious.
awful.
Oh my gosh. Did I tell you? I sent you pictures of one of the jerseys showed up. Did I text you the
Yes.
picture?
Yeah.
There's no Green Bay logo anywhere, no NFL logo anywhere on it.
Old school.
Yeah, it's old school. That's right. Yeah, you said that like it's a throwback jersey.
Yeah. And that's a Christmas present.
Yeah, that was Lazard. That's Duncan's favorite player. So
Santa or from Johnny?
those will be from Santa.
Yeah. Blame it on Santa's shitty.
The elves aren't licensed by the NFL, guys. Come on. And then Joe, you know what's funny is so his favorite team is the Miami Dolphins for I don't know what reason, but we were talking, we were in Omaha and he was hanging out with his cousin. He was like, "Yes, Dad, my favorite player." I was asking him who his favorite player was. He's like, "Who's your favorite player on the Dolphins?" He goes, "The quarterback." And I was like, "Oh, what's his name?" He's like, "I don't know." He doesn't even know his favorite player's name. And so then I googled who I did ask Siri who's the quarterback for the Dolphins, and it pops up three, and I read him all three names, and he's like, I don't know, I think it's the first one, but it might be the second. Like even with choices, he didn't know who his favorite player was.
And he's got such a unique name, Tua Tagovailoa.
Yeah. Huh.
Well, it's funny. I would have assumed he picked the Dolphins because they're such a high flying offensive, high scoring team, and they've got like Tyreek Hill and Waddle and all these really fast players. So I would have thought like, oh yeah, like a kid would like that'd be.
Yeah.
I would like to be a fan of the Dolphins. They seem like a fun team to watch.
Yeah, but I don't think he knows any of that stuff you just said. Like Eating would know that stuff, but Duncan doesn't follow sports, so he doesn't
He
know.
just likes the idea of like Miami or Dolphins or the colors or who knows.
But you know what is funny is his cousin Max in Omaha. His favorite team is the Dolphins and has been for a long time, like a long time. And that's his favorite team because like he has sweatshirts and posters and stuff, and it's only his favorite team because like years ago he was playing his brother Jack in NFL Madden, and Jack always beats him because he's like 4 years older than him or something.
Mm-hmm.
And one time he beat him, and Jack was so pissed off, and he was playing as the Dolphins. So it was like the Dolphins beat Jack's team, and that just became his favorite team ever because
That's such a funny way. Oh my! I'm so like surprised when you hear how people become, because like 90% of the time it's like, who did your parents root for, or like
Yeah.
what city are you living in? Like for me, it was just I grew up in Seattle. But
Yeah.
yeah, so every once in a while you hear like weird stories like that. Like my brother-in-law is a Raiders fan, and they only briefly lived in this part of California and he went to some I don't know if it was like his dad's friends or just some weird house one time. They happened to be watching the Raiders, and they were all like tough biker Raider dudes. And he's like, oh, this is like the cool team. And I was cursed as a Raiders. Then you think you could have picked anybody. But then the Raiders have sucked for his entire life, basically. And this who you're stuck with.
You ever work with Daniel Eachus? You know him?
I know who he is, but no, I've never worked with him.
Yeah, I've been on the road with him a couple times, and he like his favorite team is the Vikings, and he's from Cal. Like his story, he's just like, yeah, when we were young, my brother and I, we just picked a team to have be our favorite, and that was the one team I picked randomly, and he's like a diehard Vikings fan. No connection at all.
And then the Vikings have been like so cursed. Well, maybe this is their year.
Right, what do you need backup on?
Okay, so I don't know, be interested to see because I think I watch more TV than you, but I've been noticing a trend in holiday commercials,
Oh
and
boy.
that is like, have you seen the ads where John Hamm is Santa Claus? It's for the
Uh,
World Cup, I think. But so John Hamm is Santa
yeah.
Claus in these commercials, and he does not wear like a fake, like a fat suit. He's just like ripped.
Does he have a beard?
He's got like a beard, but like a cool. It's not like a Santa big bushy beard. It's like a cool guy beard.
Okay.
I don't even know if it's. I can't even remember if it's white. I think it's like salt and pepper. Like very sexy.
Sexy.
Yeah. And then so I was like kind of in my head. I was like, that's kind of weird. Like you think they would. First of all, why is John Hamm Santa Claus? And
Mm-hmm.
I think if he was going to be Santa Claus, they would like dress him more like whatever. It's like no big deal. Then I see this ad for this Tubi. It's like a TV streaming thing,
Yeah.
and they have a Santa Claus ad, and it's not John Hamm, but it's basically like a knockoff John Hamm, like a just like a hot, like
Another sexy man.
dude, salt and pepper beard, ripped, like arms out. I was like, what are we doing with Santa Claus? I need backup on like bring back Jolly
Jolly Saint Nick.
Santa. I don't know
Yeah.
why this, and like it's hypocritical too because you with women everything's like body positivity. You know, your body is beautiful. Don't be ageist. I feel like
Yeah.
we're doing all this shit we used to do to women. Now we're doing it to Santa. We're like
Yeah.
needs to be hot, have abs.
Photoshopping Santa, making him
Yeah, we're making
sexier.
young Santa Clauses self-conscious about their bodies.
Yeah, sure, I'll get behind that. I thought you were gonna say, I thought you were just gonna go with the just in general these holiday commercials. There's one for a cell phone company. I don't even know which one it is, but it's like a Lifetime movie jammed into a commercial. It's where she's like
Oh,
texting her dead husband, like, "Oh, I miss you so much."
dude.
Some lady's like, "I got this phone. You can keep texting if it helps." And she's like, "Oh, I'm so sad. You sound like a great mom." It's like, what the fuck is this? Is this a
And
cell phone commercial?
that you can't do a commercial like that now when like everyone's gotten that exact scam text. You know what I mean? You're just gonna get a bunch of people's social security numbers stolen. Because like, oh, maybe I'm like the lady in the commercial. I got a new friend here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. There's one for a car or something where it's like a lady's husband died when he was young, and then it's the same old Chevy, and then her
Oh yeah.
go through, and then she's got her kids and the grandkids. It's like her whole life is in this car, and you're like, oh my god,
Yeah, it's like an episode of This Is Us in a fucking
yes,
20-second commercial. That's the yeah. It's just come on. It's a little heavy-handed. What is the message here? What are you saying?
just get some dancing raisins, you know, put
Thank
some
you.
hats on.
Put some sunglasses on a raisin. Oh my
This
god.
doesn't be so hard.
Yeah.
No more sexy Santas and no more emotionally manipulative.
Amen.
All right.
Amen.
Well, you said you had two. Do you want to jam in one more, or do you want to save it for?
You know what?
Uh,
Teaser. We'll save it. We'll save it. It's a sports related one.
Come for more sports talk
Sports talk with Beaner and Slater.
in the locker room, post game show.
Yeah. Do you have stuff you want? Do you have any gigs you want to plug in December?
Yeah. Well, no, because this Sunday that's not going to work. I don't know.
Nope.
Go. You have
Yeah,
something?
this will come out I'm just plugging
No, I
New
got
Year's Eve weekend, Thursday, the 29th through the 31st, I'll be at Dr. Grin's Grand Rapids, and then the 6th and 7th of January, I'll be in Milwaukee at the Laughing Tap. And actually, that's when I'll be re-recording Tiny Wiener.
excellent.
That's the plan right now. So if you
Very
like
good.
Johnny Beaner's 2011 material, come on out and see
Well,
how
I mean,
well
you
he
gotta just
can
go-
recall it.
You should just go super long and fold in new stuff. Because I mean, it's not like they're gonna play the whole album.
No, I know, but if I put it, because this recording is a Sirius exclusive, so like
Right.
I'm not gonna be able to put it on another album, or if I do put it on another album, they
Sure.
won't play the new album. I don't know.
They don't fucking. Anyway, well, good point. I'll be okay. I've won. I won. I'm gonna be in Bend, Oregon, January 21st. This is a show. It's another one of those ones I'm trying to self-produce, so it's a ways out. But if you know anybody in Bend, Oregon, send them my way January 21st at the Open Events studio or something like that.
Nice.
Gotta sell some tickets for that. So,
All right.
Bend, Oregon. Okay, that's it. Thank you for everybody for listening to
The Cavalry.